If I asked most worship leaders if their team can tell them no, most of you would say, yeah, of course, they can tell me no anytime. I would have said the same thing too. A bigger question, and a better question is, what happens after someone on your team tells you no? How do you react? Ooh, that's a big one. Do you start questioning why they can't make it that particular day? Do you start wondering about their commitment levels? Or are you like me? Do you accept the no and quietly hold a grudge for the next week or two? Or are you like others? You know who you are, the ones that ask your team to find replacements before they can say no. You know who you are. Your external policy might say, yeah, of course my team can say no. But your response tells your team whether saying no is safe. So that means if someone telling you no changes the way you treat them, then saying no was never safe. And today, I want to take some time to talk about that. Also, if you haven't watched last week's video, I touch a little bit on this as well. So hey, what are you doing? Go watch that next after you watch this one. But today, I want to share about how I was part of that same culture where those expectations to show up were high, and I've also been on the other side of being a leader who expected everyone to be present all the time. Hello, my name is George, and I help worship leaders care for people, build healthy teams, and lead ministries that last. And I have been the volunteer who feels like I could never miss. When I was younger, much younger, no one had to force me and my friends to go to church, to go to practice, rehearsals. We had the time, we didn't have any commitments, we had the energy. Stop me if this sounds familiar. We also had a weird unwritten rule. You were never allowed to miss. It wasn't in a book somewhere, it wasn't in a document somewhere, we just understood it. We all had this sense of pridefulness of we were always there. If you missed, not good. And if you did miss, where were you? Why didn't you go? You had something better to do than serve God today? And because we were friends, we joked about it. We poked fun at each other. It felt harmless at first because, we're friends. It's funny. That's how our group talked. But that joke carried a message. Everyone else was faithful. Why weren't you faithful? If there was a birthday party for a parent, a sibling, or someone else important in our lives, we might go for a while and then leave for church in the afternoon. Honestly, this is one I regret the most because I couldn't see it at the time, but that's not a good way to serve. But that seemed completely normal to us. We never talked or thought about balance. We were just so proud that we never missed. We connected attendance to commitment, and then we connected commitment to spirituality. So the people who served the most looked the most faithful, and the people who missed looked the least committed to the team and to God. Now, the important part though is we genuinely loved what we were doing. We loved going to church. We loved serving. We weren't a group of miserable people being dragged to church. We chose it. We enjoyed it. That is a major reason why the unhealthy part of this was really hard to see for us. So that means that eventually when I became a leader, that same thought process followed me there. Like I said before, when I was young, I rarely missed. So that means now that when I was in charge, I expected the same level of commitment from everybody else. So when someone on my team declined, I didn't think or ask myself, well, I hope everything's okay. I would ask myself, what's wrong? Why aren't they committed? Why can't they do what I do? I honestly judged people in my head. I thought they were lazy. I thought they were making excuses. I thought there was no good reason because everyone should be able to serve to the capacity that I was serving. A big thing is, when I did think these things, I was not saying them out loud. I said them to myself in my head. I didn't shout at people. I didn't scream. I didn't make a big fuss at that moment. I usually just told them it was fine, no big deal. But it was a big deal in my head. And if you know me, which many people do, you know that my response would be to withdraw. I would become passive aggressive. I would probably joke at your expense, making you feel guilty in some way or another. So in other words, I would treat people a little differently just to let you know that I'm annoyed with you. I'm not pleased. My words say, you can say no. My behavior said, you can say no, but I will let you know that I'm annoyed. So that means something in me had to change. I had to learn that people were human, not machines. People were not things that produced. People have lives, people have emotions, people have families and other responsibilities outside of serving. Their work and school demands are different than mine. People didn't have as much free time as I had at that time. Reduced availability does not mean reduced faithfulness. So, after learning these hard lessons, this is what I do now. When someone tells me no or declines, I immediately assume positive intent. That means that my mind does not travel towards the negative. It assumes that there's always a good reason, no questions asked. And I don't need a reason from you. Most people give it because they feel comfortable sharing the reason they're not going to be there, but I don't demand it anymore. A simple answer from me now is something along the lines of, awesome, thank you for letting me know. I'll adjust the schedule accordingly, thanks. That's it, no fuss, no big deal. Then I just adjust the schedule. So that means do not add something like, really? Are you sure? Do you know how this is going to affect the team? Don't make people carry the emotional weight of declining an invitation or saying no. And after the conversation, keep treating them the same. Treat them the same in person, at rehearsals. Keep investing in them. Don't stop that. So do not punish the no with distance, silence, fewer opportunities, or jokes at their expense. I remember a time where a team member of mine was going to start a family. Her husband and her served on the worship team, and eventually she became pregnant, and that was awesome. We were so happy and thrilled that there was going to be a new addition to the family. I tried my best to encourage her to take all the time she needed. There was no return date that I chose for her or demanded from her. I let her know that she can tell me as soon as she feels ready to return to the team. And we did the same thing for both her kids. And I'm sure she appreciated that with all her heart. This same thing applies, or should apply, when someone is taking a vacation, has a birthday, has a particular demanding season at work or at school. Their job is to communicate their availability to me. My job is to lead the team through it. A safe no has 4 parts. The person can decline. They don't have to defend their reason for declining. The relationship does not change. And the leader has to own the next step in the process. So a gracious response really matters. A loving, gracious response to your team when they say no. But we cannot wait until our team is exhausted or wait until they ask for help. Rest also needs structure. First, I would say, let your team block off availability before making the schedule. Make that normal. A blocked date is information. It's not something that a team member needs to defend to you. Second, use a rotating schedule when the amount of volunteers allows for it. I like this because people then really know what to expect. They know when they're going to serve and the consistency at which they're going to serve. Maybe that means people serve every other Sunday, so they don't have to show up to every single rehearsal. And that allows your team members to plan activities with their family or plan vacations around things like this. It makes it predictable. The rotation doesn't have to be the same for every single person on your team. You can tailor it to each individual person. Some people have more capacity than others, right? We've said it many times on this channel. Young people have more energy, more time, less commitments. Awesome, maybe you can use them a bit more. Married people with families, maybe they can only do once a month. Wonderful. Tailor it to each individual person. Third, schedule full services off. If you only have services on Sundays, full Sundays off. Full means all of it. No ministry responsibilities whatsoever. No expectation for you to show up early. No expectation for you to do anything. No expectation for you to come to rehearsal for that time. You can't make someone do tracks, but they're not singing. They don't have a major responsibility. No. Fully off means fully off. Of course, attend the service to receive. But on my team, one of the things that I did is, hey, if you needed to take the Sunday off, again, spend it with family, maybe catch up on school, catch up on work, do what you need to do. Your time is free. Fourth, and this is an important one, schedule a time for recovery after demanding seasons. Christmas, Easter, a conference, a retreat, all of these can demand a lot from your team. Your team should know that when a demanding season ends, recovery time begins. Fifth, and this is one that's maybe a little controversial, but train substitutes for all your different positions. Sometimes you use a less experienced musician to play the bass or the guitar this time around. That's okay. Rest is more important than having the highest level all the time. And development gives your team options. And then your ministry doesn't have to depend on any one person forever. That's awesome. These systems make serving on your team joyful because they know that rest is baked into the ministry and they don't have to beg for it later. Now, let us deal with a small church problem because sometimes there just isn't enough volunteers to be able to do it the way I'm asking. And I know what you're saying right now, leaders of small churches. You're saying there just really isn't anybody else. I wish there was, but there isn't. You may have just one keyboard player, one drummer, one person on keys, one person running the lyrics, or maybe you're running back and forth yourself, leader. And I know if they say no, all the other work comes back to you. In that moment, you as the leader, you have to carry that gap. You have to fill that gap. And I get it, it's a lot of work. My recommendation to you is don't make the volunteers feel responsible for it. I know this is hard to hear or maybe hard to digest a little bit, but do it happily, do it without holding a grudge. A leader should carry the majority of the responsibility. The leader should lead by example. The leader should pull the team forward by example. And so if that means carrying a bigger load for a season in time, then so be it. It's part of the role. You will get your rest. So that means maybe for a period of time, it's just you and your guitar, you and your piano, leading an entire service while the rest of your team rests. As I mentioned in the previous video, I've done that too. One of the things that I did though is I learned to enjoy it. There's something beautiful about an acoustic guitar and a voice singing on stage and being able to lead people in worship. In my opinion, the leader should be ready to work the hardest. A leader should be ready to cover difficult weeks. But carrying a difficult week this week is not the same thing as carrying a difficult week forever. After the service, improve the system, adjust the rotation, develop somebody. If the only way to protect your team is to simplify the service, then simplify the service. People are more important than keeping the same arrangement every single week. And if everyone stops serving the moment no becomes safe, don't blame the rest. You got to ask your team, what's wrong? What happened? Why don't you want to serve? A healthy ministry should be a place where people want to serve and contribute. So that means if everyone wants out, the leader really needs to listen. I do want to be clear about something though. Making no safe does not mean that every pattern is healthy though. Rest does not mean carelessness. Grace doesn't remove accountability. If someone cancels at the last minute one time, assume positive intent. When you see them next time, ask if everything is okay. But if it becomes a repeated pattern, it's time to have a conversation. Again, do it with grace and love. Ask them whether their availability is still the same or if something has changed. If a student is approaching a season of exams or projects, reduce their workload for that season in time. If someone though says they are fully available to serve week after week, but they keep declining requests, ask them if something's changed or if maybe they just don't want to be a part of the team or something is going on, right? Have that conversation. If someone consistently shows up unprepared, rest is not the issue. Address the lack of preparation with grace and clarity. If someone wants a leadership role, the responsibility and availability have to match. A leader cannot be a leader if they are never available to lead. Moral of the story is, conversations matter. Make sure that there's an open door policy where your team feels like they can come to you and talk to you about anything that's on their mind, especially when it comes to stuff like availability. Make sure to set clear expectations, honest capacity, and I think your team will thrive. If your team does not believe that saying no is safe, Start asking why. Start by looking at yourself. If your team does not feel safe saying no, most likely than not, it's the leader's issue. It's the leader's problem. Ask yourself, how do I respond? What do I say? How do I make them feel after they say no? Everything we've talked about throughout this video. Ask your team, I want people to be able to communicate their capacity or availability to me clearly and easily. Is there something about the way I respond when someone says no that might make it hard for you to tell me? And then after you do that, be quiet and listen. It might take a while for the people to start responding, but if they genuinely feel like you're open to hearing the truth, they will start telling you, and little by little, they'll start opening up, I promise. When you listen, do not make faces. Take it in stride. Take it like a champ, because if there are things that you need to fix, listen and apply them. You rebuild trust by responding differently more than once. It's about practicing the way you respond over and over, request after request, no after no. And after a while of your team seeing that your response is different, they'll start changing. Before you build the next schedule, give your team one clear statement. You can block a date or decline a request. I will not ask you for a reason or justification. I will simply adjust the plan, and I will not change how I view you or treat you. Then prove it with one schedule change, add a planned Sunday off, create a rotation for your team, protect recovery after a demanding season, and start training substitutes for their roles. And start with one. Please do not tell people that rest matters. Show it to them by the way you treat them and by the way you respond. Behavior matters. And so just to do a quick recap, reduced availability does not mean reduced faithfulness. Make no safe. Put rest on the schedule and keep your conversations honest, because we don't just lead music, we lead people.